On the first day after the long weekend, the US stock market took a downward course. The Nadsdaq was the only one of the key stock indexes to close with gains. Notably, US stocks traded on the choppy market yesterday, and the three benchmark indexes printed losses. However, they managed to win back some losses by the closing time. What fueled such turbulence? The Fed's minutes are on investors' radars tonight. So, the document could give the market a hint about a rate hike that could happen earlier than expected. The S&P 500 climbed to 4,347 points and stalled its bullish run later in the session. The index is expected to trade in the corridor of 4,340 to 4,380 in the nearest days. The thing is that the US stock market dropped in the early American trade in light of a downbeat services PMI for June. The ISM services PMI contracted to 60 points in June, much weaker than the forecast and the previous score at 64 in May. To make things worse, all companies in the ISM survey revealed poor results. If further macroeconomic data also prints negative scores, this could hamper a rapid rally of the US stock indexes. The US dollar index unexpectedly asserted strength yesterday. This happened in parallel to a decline in oil prices. Perhaps one of the reasons for a downward correction of oil prices is expectations of tightening monetary policy by the US Fed. We will be able to make sure that it's the case after the publication of the Fed's minutes later today. Meanwhile, the US dollar is trading at near 92.50. Analysts say the index is likely to halt in the corridor of 92.00 to 93 until the minutes are released. The USD CAD pair reversed sharply upwards yesterday. The price surged 100 pips, defying the pair's customary dynamic. The currency pair climbed to 1.2450. It's expected to trade in a narrow range of 1.24 to 1.25. The weakness of the Canadian dollar comes as a result of a few circumstances, including the US dollar's advance across the board and a sharp drop of oil prices. Experts admit the pair could extend its climb as high as 1.26. Bitcoin has lost almost $2,000 in value since the beginning of the week. First, the cryptocurrency made a brave effort to surpass the level of $36,000, but without the success. Today, the most popular digital token is trading at about $34,800 to $34,900. Bitcoin has been under pressure since crypto miners had to wind up business in China. Regional governments in 4 Chinese provinces banned crypto mining. Besides, domestic banks and payment processing companies are prohibited from making any transactions with the digital assets. So, Bitcoin is likely to hold in the corridor of 32,000 to 36,000 until. To sum up, investors will find out soon whether a shift to neutral monetary policy from ultra-loose one is actually on the Fed's table. If it comes through, a deep downward correction will be imminent for the US equity market following the rapid rally. Notably, the US economy is quite healthy, so the stock market still has some space for a further growth. You were watching Forex News on InstaForex TV channel with me, Kate Stichina. We wish you profitable deals and see you on our channel tomorrow.